Hello everyone, welcome to day 24 of our DIY Advent Calendar series. If you are watching this video when it comes out, a very happy Christmas Eve day to you. And today we are going to be doing a very fitting project for Christmas Eve day. I have decided to make Santa's milk and cookies and a carrot for the reindeer. So, for today's project, we are going to be needing some white felt. You're going to need to cut a rectangle shape, and it's going to be slightly tapered on either side. You don't have to do this, I just like to add the little effect. Then we're going to need a circle that fits the top and a circle that fits the bottom, because we want to be able to take our milk out of the cup. And then we will be needing some, you can use any color really for the cup, but I like this dark blue, so it's going to be slightly bigger than our white, and same with the bottom, just slightly bigger than the bottom of the white circle. So, and if you're needing help cutting this out, I actually just took one of my kids' cups and I measured felt around it and cut it, and that's how I got my pattern. Then for the cookies, you're going to be needing some, so I've cut out all these tiny little dark brown pieces, about 10 of them for our chocolate chips. They're just like little irregular circle shapes. And then you're going to be needing 2 of the tan felt circles. I like chocolate chip cookies, they're my favorite. I'm going to make some of them. Then we will be needing these 2 little shapes, leaf shapes, cut out of a lighter green felt, and a rounded cone for the carrot. So we will also be using our orange thread for this project. For the cookie, we'll be needing some dark brown or black and tan thread. For the cup, we'll be needing our blue thread. For the milk, we'll be needing our white thread. Then we will need some polyfill and our needle. Alrighty, let me get set up and I will see you in a moment. Okay, I'm going to be starting on the milk portion of the project. So I just have a nice big long white thread here, and I'm just going to fold this in half. And you can keep your knot on the outside because I'll be turning this inside out. And you'll just want to do a whip stitch, which is in through the bottom, out through the top, in through the bottom, out through the top, and just all the way to the end. And I will come back in a second once we've done that and show you how to attach the circles. Okay, now that we have finished sewing our one seam here, we're just going to flip this piece inside out. So we've just hidden that on the inside. Then you can start with your larger circle. Just kind of give this a shape to make it easier to sew. And start with your larger circle on top, and you're just going to go around and whip stitch the entire edge to the circle. So I will come back in a moment. Oh, another tip is you can put your fingers on the inside to kind of hold it while you're doing it if you want it to keep flat. And then, yeah, that is it. And I will be back in a moment and show you the next step. I thought I'd just hop back on early to show you. I know I showed you to sew it from the outside in the last part of this video, but I found as I was going it's easier to put your hand inside and whip stitch this way along the edge. So I'm almost done whip stitching this top bit here. I am going to tie my thread off and start again on the other side, but we're going to stuff this piece first. It does make it a lot easier for sewing, and because it's white, I'm not really too worried about any little bits of the stuffing coming out from the sides. So now that we're all the way around, just start a whip stitch, make your loop, pull the end through around 3 times, oops, and tie that off. So I'm going to stuff this next. I find it easier for sewing if it is stuffed now. So put the finished side on the bottom just to keep it flat, and then put a bit of stuffing in and make sure that's nice around the edges. Just keep going with your stuffing until you get to the top. You can always, when you're whip stitching, just leave a little portion open and put any extra stuffing you feel you need before you close the hole up. But I am just going to put about that much in for now, and then you can hide your knot underneath here. Place this on top and just do the same thing. Whip stitch around the whole edge. Actually, it's easier for me to work towards myself, so you can go in through the circle, out through the side, in through the circle, out through the side, just all the way around, and I'll be back in a moment. Alright, I have finished the milk portion of this project. Now, I find it easier. I don't know, depending on your skill level, it might be more difficult, but I actually use the stuffed piece as my form to help for sewing. So just pull this around the entire way, making sure there's a little bit of space on the bottom there, and I'm just going to whip stitch from the very top here down to the bottom. And you can just, actually, you know what I'll do? I'm going to tie off. So I'll start at the bottom to hide my knot just on the inside, and then without catching any of the white stuffed piece, you're just going to want to pick up one side, come into the other side, and do that all the way down. So I will, I'm going to go all the way up to the very top. You can always take the insert piece out if it gets too difficult to sew the top. And I'm going to tie off at the end, and I'll see you in a moment to attach the bottom. Okay, I have finished sewing that seam there, so we're just going to need to put the bottom on now. So take your other blue piece. We're going to be hiding our stitch on the inside, or sorry, our knot, and then just place that on. Without picking up any of the white again, you're just going to want to whip stitch all around the edge. I find it easier to come in from the outside, up through the circle, just all the way around, and you'll just tie off at the end, and we will be finished our cup when I come back in a moment. See you in a second. Alrighty, we are all done our cup and our milk, so that can just fit inside there. You could just sew the white circle to the inside of this, but I like having it as removable. I just like adding little extras like that. So there's our milk cup. So next we'll be starting on our cookie. So you'll just take one of your the tan squares, and then you're just going to line squares. Did I say squares? Tan circles. You're just going to line the chocolate chips up wherever you'd kind of like them. And we will be taking our dark brown or black thread and just coming in from the bottom and out through the top just to attach these. So you don't need to go crazy with these because they're just little embellishments, but just hide your knot on the inside, come up through the bottom and down through the top, making a tiny little stitch, just enough to hold it on there. See, you don't have to put all these on right away, but I was just doing it to show you. So up through the bottom and down through the top, and I think like 3 stitches per little chocolate chip is probably enough to hold these guys on there. So what I do next, rather than cutting off and tying my thread, I'll just move over to the next one, up through the bottom, and then you can just give that a pull. And then we're going to be hiding all of these ugly stitches, but yeah, just go and attach all of those, and I will be back in a moment to show you the next step. So I have finished sewing those on there. So next we're just going to take our other brown circle, place it on the back just lined up. Then our tan thread, we're going to hide our knot on the inside and just go ahead and whip stitch around the outside of this cookie until you get about this much space left. Then you're just going to want to stuff it, not too full, just like so it's about this thick, and then just finish whip stitching the final chunk, tie off, and I will come back in a moment when I am done that. Oh, just a little tip for when you're attaching, it's not a huge deal, but when you're attaching these chocolate chips, try not to make them like right on the edge, because it does make it a tad more difficult for whip stitching, but not really that much. Felt isn't that hard. So I'm going to continue on with this, and I will see you in a moment. Alright, we are finished our cookie and our milk for Santa, but of course we cannot forget about the reindeers, so I'm going to be starting on this carrot. Put these aside for a moment. So with our orange thread, we will just be folding this in half lengthwise. We will be flipping it inside out so you can hide your stitches on the outside. I find it easier to start from the top corner and work my way down. So you're just going to whip stitch along the whole edge until the very tippy top of the end here. And then I will come back in a moment to show you how to finish up this carrot. Now that I have finished sewing my carrot, we're just going to flip it inside out. You know what, this would make a good nose if you made a big snowman too. Wouldn't last too long outside, but so this is where a pokey stick will come in handy if you've got one. I got a whole drawer of them, luckily, because I keep misplacing them. I'm pretty sure my cat is stealing them at this point. So just poke that through really carefully. Try not to rip your stitches. Doesn't need to be super perfect, but get it as pointy as you can. Great, so we are going to come in with some stuffing. You can use a little bit at first and just poke that down to get it to the tip without stretching the shape of your carrot too much. And just keep stuffing it till you have just a bit of space at the top. The smaller amounts you use as you're going along, the less lumpy it'll be. That one was a little bit large for stuffing amount that I put in, but what carrot is perfectly straight anyways? All about ugly vegetables here in this house. There we go. So fill it up until you still have a little bit of space to work with around the edge, and we're just going to come in with our thread and hide your knot on the inside. We'll be doing a long running stitch all the way around, so it's just you just want to pick up pieces, so in through the top, out through the bottom, in through the top, all the way around. These don't need to be perfect. We're going to be hiding these stitches anyways. So just do that all the way around. And once you get back where you started, don't go past where you started because it gets difficult for cinching it. But from this point, I'm going to take my pokey stick, just kind of make a hole if I can. And then I'm going to put these two pieces in, the two green pieces, just kind of hanging out. You can put the whole stem piece in and then just have the round bit hanging out, but then we're going to give this a pull to cinch it closed, and you'll be doing some reinforcing stitches. So just give it a pinch while you're working, and you'll just go one through one side, out the other. Try and pick up the green. You want to attach the green this time, so just in one side, out through the other, and kind of go around to make sure that you get everything. And you'll notice that you have these little high points, like if you've got one, like this one here, for instance, is sticking up. So I will just pick that up specifically and push that through. So just keep going with reinforcing stitches. It doesn't need to be too crazy, but if kids play with these, they do get... Actually, you know what? I have some that I made for last Christmas. They've been through the washing machine. I don't put them through the dryer as a habit, but I did have a cake go through the dryer once, and I mean, it doesn't look that bad. It still looks like a cake. It's a tiny bit lumpy. You can never really quite get it back to its original shape, but these will wash up quite nicely. Definitely in the washing machine. You can just chuck them in. That's why I like using the polyester and the synthetic fibers, because if you use wool, it gets a little bit more difficult for cleaning instructions, and you want to be able to keep your kids' toys clean, especially ones that they're going to be putting in their mouth. You can tell them not to put them in their mouth all you want, and they're going to sneak it when you're not looking. So I try to make my pieces non-chokeable. That's why I don't use any little beads or glue or anything for my play foods, because they are probably going to be attempting to ingest them at some point. So I'm just going to finish by tying that off. 3 little loops, oops. And that's it for the orange. So you can cut off your thread. So what I like to do now, you can either leave it like this, which is quite cute, and it's sturdier, so if you have little kids, when you cut into felt in little strips, it can break off quite easily, so you can just leave it like this. But if you do want more of a kind of detailed look, all I do is come in with my scissors. I will cut straight down the center, not too far, and then just give it a little frayed cut here. Give it a little bit of extra character. Trying not to cut any off. I guess you guys can't see. There we go. So I just give it some cuts down, not cutting too close to my center line or else it will just fall apart. And yeah, just give it some cuts. You can do that with the other side as well. And just a nice quick and easy project for Christmas Eve, because I know that if you're anything like me, you probably still have some stuff to do. I did get a lot of wrapping done beforehand, but now I kind of want to go back and make everything prettier. So I'm going to go put bows and everything on everything. All right, so that's our carrot, our cookie, and our milk. Just a fun little project, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did like this video, give me a thumbs up below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that alert button so you will be notified of videos that we post. We are going back to our weekly schedule of Thursday videos after Christmas. So tomorrow is the last video in our series, and if you've been following along, thank you so much. I hope you got a lot of ideas and maybe some really cute projects out of this series. That was the whole point. I wanted to make a series that parents could use to, or non-parents too, to just craft some things for the holidays, because I know this is not the most profitable year, 2020, for everyone so far. So hopefully this helped, and have a wonderful Christmas Eve, guys. I will see you tomorrow for Christmas Day and the end of our series. Bye-bye.